Good morning, darlings. Today I'm going to do a video on gaslighting. I've done a few, but I've had a couple of people request another video with some more specifics on gaslighting. So gaslighting is a tool that is used by narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths, and other highly manipulative people. Sometimes active addicts, when they're in their addiction, will also use gaslighting, and they may not have the comorbid personality disorder. But gaslighting is where somebody tells you that what you saw, you didn't see what you saw, you didn't hear what you heard, that thing that you said happened didn't really happen, and they make you doubt your own reality, your own perception of reality. What this does to the person who's being gaslighted is it creates a lot of cognitive dissonance in their brain, foggy brain, confusion. They are off kilter. They don't know the truth from the false. And eventually, over time, especially if you're with a covert narcissist, your perception of reality gets distorted because you don't know up from down, and you learn, or you start to often depend upon the narcissist or the sociopath. You defer to them for your own perception of reality. This is abuse. Do not mistake it. This is a psychological abuse, and it is something that only manipulative people use. Normal people don't do this. Healthy people don't do this, so they don't even understand it. It's very confusing. Narcissists, sociopaths, they will lie to your face, dead calm. Sometimes with absolutely no sign of remorse, no tell. They say even some psychopaths and sociopaths can pass lie detector tests because they're so good at lying. They're pathological liars, right? So gaslighting is all part of that pathological lying. Some examples might be, you are wondering, I'll give you a personal example. You're starting to suspect that the person that, perhaps you've been in, I was with probably a covert narcissist, maybe a sociopath, not sure exactly one or the other. You were in a relationship for a long time. You believe that you believe your partner is trustworthy because they're very, very covert. So there's no, a lot of their lies are lies of omission and very highly manipulative lies. And you're questioning, I was asking, I started to suspect that this person was having an affair. And I asked on, multiple occasions, and, he completely, denied it, but was very kind of almost seemingly lovingly and calm about it. And like, oh, that's because you're jealous and insecure. You have this problem. And then at one point, I really started to believe this. So I started taking all these courses on, how to heal my jealousies and my insecurities so that I could stop bringing that to the relationship, right? And there was one point in the course that I was taking where it asked for you to bring your partner in that you were with to take a portion of the course so they could learn, how to help you with your jealousies and insecurities and help the holistic health of the relationship, right? And so I asked my, the narcissist that I was with at the time, if would you be willing to take this course to help me and to help our relationship? And he did. He took the course. Meanwhile, he had just had sex with his married lady girlfriend. So that's just an example. And he was like, of course, I'll take the course. I'll take the course to help you with your problem. Meanwhile, my intuition was dead on. It was exactly what was happening. So that's a form of very high level of manipulation and gaslighting. And it is normal people, most healthy people wouldn't do that. They would never do that. They would be defensive, or they'd say, I'm not taking that course. Even if they were guilty, they would be like, what? Or somebody who wasn't cheating and who wasn't gaslighting and who wasn't lying, they would take that course because they really genuinely wanted their partner to not feel jealous and insecure, and they wanted to help the holistic health of the relationship, right? So that just goes to show this level of pathology. And gaslighting, in my case, The person I was with went to therapy for 6 months, gaslighted the therapist, lied to the therapist, lied to me. No remorse, no guilt, no accountability, no personal responsibility, denied. And, then of course it was found out that this person had been having a long-term affair. So, amongst other things. So the gaslighting is it can be very insidious, and that, it's where they tell you, what you saw, you didn't see, what you heard, you didn't hear. Or sometimes they'll say, well, I never said that. And they did. Or no, I never agreed to that. And they did. So some people, when they're in relationships with narcissists, like it's such crazy making that they end up like recording the narcissist or writing it down, like the date and the specific time, because the narcissist will, deny. It's all about this denial and manipulation. So yeah, gaslighting is extremely damaging to the brain. It causes a lot of the trauma from these relationships because it's all of this cognitive dissonance. It's like your brain can't reconcile like what's going on. You can't, you're constantly in a state of confusion. You have foggy brain. Gaslighting can even lead to panic attacks. A lot of the people that are in these relationships report that they had these, this generalized sort of anxiety disorder, and then they often had panic attacks because, their intuition, their body, their logical mind is telling them one thing, but the narcissist who's been manipulating them forever, whatever, for a long time, who's been using these tactics of gaslighting and manipulation, is telling them another thing, and the victim doesn't, they have a hard time knowing what is true and false, what is reality and what is fantasy, right? So it's very, very difficult for the brain to reconcile this and to, know up from down. And normal people, healthy people, do not engage in these forms of manipulation. They just don't. So you also just don't expect it. You would never expect for somebody to, use this kind of manipulation. Not if you're a normal, healthy person. You just don't. You don't go around trying to manipulate people to suck them dry and get like your needs met. You're not pathologically self-interested. Healthy people love other people. They're able to love. They don't try to hurt people. They don't try to torture people. They don't try this sort of mind fuckery. They just don't. So this is something that is used by very, very manipulative people, whether they're sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissists, or active addicts. This is a very difficult thing to deal with. I know if you've been with a gaslighter, if you've been with one of these manipulators, it's really, really difficult to, get out of the fog of gaslighting. But once you get away from the relationship, once you go no contact, what you may find is you start looking back and you start realizing like the extent of the mind fuckery that you were exposed to, and you start to get a lot more clarity, and you surround yourself with people who are not gaslighters, who are not manipulators. Thank God I had a lot of those people in my life, and it was like, oh my gosh, these people are sane. These people don't have a personality disorder. These people are not manipulators, and I had trust in those people. I was able to see the giant dichotomy between the manipulator that I was with and these other people that are healthy and, self-aware and, sane and without a personality disorder. And they helped me to, get back in touch with reality by saying, yeah, write down the list. This is what this person did. This is what, their actions did not match their words. This thing. And I was like, oh, I was able to look at the reality instead of the psychological mind fuckery that had been, that had gone on with this person. So, it's really important to surround yourself with people that are not manipulators. It's really important to surround yourself with people that are honest, that have integrity, that have decency. Get those people in your life. Get relationships with those people, because then when you have that, dichotomy, you can see it much more clearly. But of course, if you've been in a long-term relationship with one of these people, these character disturbed people, it could have been, in my case, it was very covert. It was very under the radar, high IQ, very low EQ. So I was dealing with somebody who is incredibly, no empathy, but a lot of cognitive empathy. So knowing how to, exquisitely manipulate all the people in that person's life. This person had that down to a T. So, and I was naive because I didn't think people really were like this. I thought it was like only on TV that you would encounter pure evil like that in life. I don't know. I was naive. But what another thing that may happen for you, it's happened for me, is I have had a loss of innocence in terms of, thinking that most people are mostly good. They may be ill, they may be acting out in their sickness, but I had a hard time wrapping my head around the idea that some people are just evil, and maybe they're not all evil, but they have a lot of evil in them. And so that is new for me. I realize that there is a small percentage of the population, they are the outliers, but that are they are malignant. And, if you're with a malignant narcissist or a sociopath or a psychopath, these people don't have empathy. So you're dealing with somebody who fundamentally lacks empathy. And that, of course, leads to evil, because if you don't empathize with other people, then you don't care what you do to them. It makes no difference. You just don't care. It doesn't, there's nothing in your conscience to stop you. You just don't have a conscience. So these people are lacking conscience. Nothing stops them from, perpetrating, all sorts of evil things on other people, because there's nothing in them that stops them from doing that. There's no conscience. There's no little quirk that says, maybe this is a bad idea. Maybe I shouldn't hurt somebody this way. Or if I do this, I'm definitely going to hurt somebody in this way. They just don't have that. So, this is sort of a long video, but longer than usual. But anyway, gaslighting is very difficult to overcome, but the best way that you can overcome it, I think, or one really good way, is to go no contact, start healing, doing work on yourself, and surround yourself with people that are not manipulative. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye.